Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I am, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about why current Connecticut Governor Ned Lamont needs to be impeached from the Connecticut Governor's office immediately for the anti-gun bullshit he's pulling there. So, we're going to go ahead and get into the article that I posted in the description here, which is basically scumbag governor, Democrat, Ned Lamont. AR-15 should not be allowed in the state of Connecticut. No, sir, your ass should not be allowed in the governor's office or any other state-held office or any other political seat of power in this country, motherfucker. You are a sack of shit, Ned Lamont. You have sworn an oath to uphold the Constitution, sir, and you have broken that oath many, many times over. So have so many other Democrats and Republicans in the state of Connecticut when you pushed for assaultmen's bans, when you pushed for magazine capacity bans, when you pushed pretty much every piece of anti-gun legislation that Michael Bloomberg, Everytown, Moms Demand Action, etc. have written for your asses. And the fact that you're now trying to do away with a grandfather clause in the AR-15s and other such weaponry in the state of Connecticut is absolute bullshit and completely unconstitutional. And I'm not going to lie. I hope the Second Amendment Foundation, I hope the Pro-2A Connecticut groups take your ass to the fucking cleaners, dude. I would love to see the DC Project take your ass to the fucking cleaners, dude, in many, many lawsuits coming forward in the future. But anyway, as it says here, Connecticut Governor Ned Lamont is weighing a push to end or repeal a grandfathering clause in a gun control bill in order to force residents to hand over their AR-15s, said the Connecticut Mirror. Noted the Connecticut's General Assembly has passed two so-called assaultmen's bans, and each time the bans had a grandfather clause allowing those who already own the banned firearms to keep them. And that is exactly why they haven't been taken to federal court, by the way, and deemed unconstitutional for the AWBs to begin with, dude, because, again, when you're putting those kind of grandfather clauses in, this is exactly why when you go back to the 94 assaultmen's ban and stuff like that, dude, which, by the way, was challenged in court many times. The only reason it was never overturned by the Supreme Court or never got to the Supreme Court at that point to be overturned was because you had a bunch of circuit court judges that were installed by that fucking asshole piece of shit scumbag pedophile Bill Clinton. You know, the same guy that got sucked off by Monica Lewinsky in the Oval Office. That motherfucker installed a bunch of people after he got in the office. There was also a bunch of other activist kind of judges back in those days in the early 90s, late 80s and stuff that were installed by George H.W. Bush that basically deemed the AWB in 94 to be constitutional, even though it was clearly not. And those judges themselves should have been disbarred on the spot and face criminal charges after the fact for deprivation of rights of law, etc., dude. So there was many court challenges to the 94 AWB, that sunset clause in 2004, obviously. And I'm still pissed off about that, too, by the way, because there was a year and a half of my life that I could have actually owned an AR-15 or an AK-47 or anything else for that matter that was banned at the time, you know, Tech 9s, etc. But because these fucking scumbags banned my constitutional rights for a decade, when I was 18 and 19 years old, I cannot own these things until that shit sunsetted in 2004. So, yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit, dude, entirely. And it's exactly why the Connecticut ones are unconstitutional as well, dude. And I guarantee, like I said, the only reason that these haven't been taken to Supreme Court challenge at this point is most likely the same reason why I said in the last episode, which is obviously the one I made after this, is 85, with, you know, HB or SB 357 here in Ohio, the anti-gun shit they're trying to pass here. There is a reason why most red flag cases don't go to the Supreme Court is because people are poor. Because it's always targeting the poor people, dude. It's exactly why every single gun control has always targeted the poor people. It's always been a classist issue. It's always been a racist issue as well, for that matter, dude. You know, some of the first gun controls were to keep guns out of the hands of minorities, dude. Other gun controls were to keep it out of the hands of poor people. Every single thing Michael Bloomberg has done in his life has done it to do both, honestly. Because that guy is an old racist fucking cunt. So is Shannon Watts, dude. You know, people throw out the term white supremacy and stuff like that all the time, dude. That's exactly what Shana Watts and Michael Bloomberg are, dude. They're white supremacists. Period. But they're not even like white supremacists for all white people either. They're the worst kind because it's only for their wannabe elitist asses is what it is, dude. Liberals, white liberals specifically in this country, are some of the worst, most racist people on earth, dude. Because they want to sit there and act like they're all fucking high and mighty and shit like that. And then they'll sit there and shit talk people behind their backs. Pretty much of all races across the board is what it is, dude. Or, if you don't vote Democrat, they'll sit there and call you all kinds of very disparaging names as a black male or a black female for that matter. It's just disgusting, dude, entirely. But anyway, continuing on back with this bullshit here. It said Lamont floated. Let's see, where right now. It said both AWBs there in Connecticut had grandfather clauses allowing people to keep the banned weapons. So Lamont floated the idea of ending or repealing the grandfather clause while talking to reporters after a debate. He described the clause as, quote, a loophole that makes society in Connecticut a little less safe. How so, sir? How does it make them less safe when it's the so-called law-abiding citizens that are the ones that have this stuff? It's not them going out there committing crimes, you fucking douchebag. It's all the fucking criminals you and your Democrat buddies left the hook in 2020 after they started burning down a major city in this fucking country, dude. It's the same pieces of shit, leftist, Antifa, and BLM terrorists that Kamala Harris directly bail funded out of fucking jails, dude, across this nation. It's your Democrat buddies that are the one making shit less safe, Ned. And you're clearly making it less safe as well, asshole. No, the only thing that your so-called assault weapons, which aren't even assault weapons, dude, they're modern sporting rifles. Let's call it like it is, dude. ARs, AKs, all that stuff like that, dude. Modern sporting rifles. If you want to talk about actual so-called assault weapons or weapons of war or something like that, dude, let's talk about fucking M1 Garands. A 30-06 that was literally used in, I believe it was World War II and Korea, both actually. But yet is one of the guns that y'all are like, no, that's just some wood furniture firearm that only holds 10, 12 rounds, whatever it is. That's fine. We can leave that on the thing. But yet you're going to go after an AR-15 because it's a scary black rifle and you're a bunch of racist assholes is what it is, dude. Legitimately, that's what it is, dude. Oh my god, it's some tactical. Oh my god, it's so scary. We gotta ban them all. That's the way these fuckers think, dude. Seriously. And continuing on with this, though, it said Lamont added, quote, AR-15 should not be allowed in the state of Connecticut. I think they're killers. I think they're incredibly dangerous in our community. You're not serious about crime if you leave them on the street. What the? First of all, you are talking about an inanimate object, you dumb motherfucker. It's not the inanimate object that's doing the fucking murdering, you moron. It's the fucking criminal behind the trigger. But of course, again, you fuckers just want to keep letting these people off the fucking hook. You got these red flags in these states, but you never seem to fucking use them, even though these people are clearly a threat to themselves and others. But yet, time after time, let out to do stuff. Hell, look at the guy that did the Club Q shooting in Colorado recently, dude. The motherfucker that's not going to be non-binary. The guy had 17 fucking felonies, including hostage taking of his own mother, and a whole bunch of other criminal charges like that, dude, that are really hardcore felonies. They're first-degree felonies, basically, in the state of Connecticut, as well as nationwide, for that matter, at a federal level. But yet, some prosecutor dude just let him off the hook. Nope, you're fine. Dismiss all charges. The guy had a fucking clean record. That's why he was able to buy a gun legally. So yeah, until you want to fucking deal with that shit, dude, fuck you, Ned Lamont, you scumbag sack of crap. Anyway, so on October 10th, 2022, Breitbart pointed to FBI figures showing over twice as many people were killed with knives and other cutting tools as were killed with rifles of any kind in 2021. FBI category for rifles includes all types of pump action, lever action, single shot, bolt action, fixed magazine semi-automatic, and a widely popular semi-automatics that have detachable magazines like ARs and AKs and stuff like that. Said Democrats refer to semi-automatics with detachable magazines as assault weapons. Said even with those types of rifles, over twice as many people were stabbed to death than were killed by rifles of any kind. Exactly. And that's the entire problem, dude. It's pea-brained motherfuckers like Ned Lamont who, honestly, you can't sit here and tell me that there's not some creepy shit going on with that dude. Just looking at that picture of that dude, man. That dude just looks like a fucking child molester, honestly, dude. Like, would it really surprise anybody if it came out tomorrow that they found, like, a bunch of dead kids' remains in this fucking basement in some cement fucking block or something, dude? Because it sure as shit wouldn't surprise me, honestly. And this is the same motherfucker that's like, oh, we need to ban these things. No, we need to ban you from holding office, dude. The fact that the General Assembly of Connecticut hasn't impeached your fucking ass at this point is only because it's so damn leftist at this point, dude. And that's what's fucked up, right? You have so many of the original 13 colony states, like the states that were originally 13 colonies in this country, that are so anti-gun now, dude. Connecticut, Maryland, Massachusetts, all these places like that, dude. That were some of the best places in the founding of this country, where our founding fathers literally grew up in and were able to fight back and have a revolution against the British Empire. Only for a couple hundred years later to have dickless, spineless little fuckboys like Ned Lamont in office now, dude. Like, honestly, I would personally love to see trial by combat for political offices, dude, because I guarantee you, if that were the case, so many of these little spineless cunts would leave office immediately. They'd be like, oh, hell no, I'm not fighting in fucking trial for combat for my seat of power is what it is, dude. Because if they had to, like, dude, they would be fucking annihilated by somebody bigger, stronger, faster than their asses. And it would be an interesting thing because you could basically do that as a sport, honestly, for that matter, dude. You know? So, yeah, it's just disgusting entirely, dude. Oh, I see Biden signed in the Respect for Marriage Act crap there while inviting a drag queen who dances with children to the signing. Fucking pedophiles on top of pedophiles right there, dude, for real. And of course, you got 1,000 migrants cross border into El Paso overnight. Again, there's a reason why we need ARs, AKs, etc., dude. And I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to go any further than that. But yeah, it would definitely deter a lot of shit in our country. A bunch of illegals coming into our country, dude. So, let's see. We got civil service bans Christmas and alcohol for winter festivities. That's pretty fucking weird. We got Texas GOP call for leadership to replace Ronna McDowell as RNC chair. That's interesting. Not surprising though. I know she's actually I believe she's Mitt Romney's niece, I want to say. I mean, I thought she did a pretty good job for a while there, but you know, I could see them wanting to replace her though with somebody else now because she has done some questionable things in the past year or so is what it is. So, but yeah, like I said, Ned Lamont needs to be impeached. Probably the entire leftist General Assembly of Connecticut needs to be replaced with other people at this point, dude. And this could happen if we actually had the balls as American citizens to demand and implement stuff like deprivation of rights under color of law as a felony nationwide, where we could literally citizens arrest these scumbags from office, dude, and put them away where they belong in a prison cell for years, decades, life, etc. And sorry, if you're calling for a complete banning of a fucking firearm, minimum you should be doing life imprisonment at that point, man. At minimum. Because there is absolutely no reason to ban a firearm that protects people from criminals. And I'll tell you what right now, dude. as somebody who has had my home broken into, you know what the first gun I would have grabbed if I had been home that day would have been? It would have been a fucking AR-15 to defend my home against multiple intruders, dude. And they would have been running the fuck back out of my house at gunpoint. And it would have been a blickety blam, bitch. So, anyway. Would have been like pop, 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 pop. So, anyway. But yeah, to sit there and try to call that a loophole as a fucking grandfather clause is just a slap in the face to everybody, dude. The fact that this man is even in office for a second term is a loophole in this country, dude. Honestly, I kind of understand why Virginia has one-term governors now. And that's because of pieces of shit like Ned Lamont. So, anyway. But yeah, needless to say, that's pretty much where we're at for the day. I don't think there's anything else I want to talk about today. I'm just checking some stuff. Oh, yeah. That was an interesting one. That Sam Bankman-Fried guy finally got arrested yesterday in the Bahamas for the scam he was doing there. That's good. We got the dumb motherfucker who was Biden's energy secretary person finally got fired for stealing women's luggage there. See, this is what I'm saying, dude. Like, things are finally starting to sort of coalesce back to sanity. In some cases, it seems like. Then we got new poll. 71% of people say accurate reporting of Hunter Biden's laptop could have altered 2020 election. You mean would have altered 2020 election. Because a lot of people wouldn't have voted for Biden's cheating ass. Then you got Mayor PDB takes multiple taxpayer-funded private jets despite calls to ease carbon emissions. Yeah, one private jet for less than an hour that this asshole takes is the equivalent of somebody driving a car for at least a year. Fuck Pete Buttigieg. Fuck all these fucking climate pieces of shit, dude, entirely. If they were really truthful about climate, dude, they would immediately plant fucking trees. They wouldn't be like, oh, we need to have the Paris Climate Accord and give billions and billions of dollars to fucking shove money into people's pockets now. Because that's what it all is at the end of the day, dude. It's all a fucking scam. The whole climate change thing is a goddamn scam entirely. And I am sick and tired of it, dude. All it is for people to make themselves rich. Because if they really, truly gave a shit about our climate, they would simply call to plant more trees. They would simply call to make our country and our nations greener, and actually have the ability for carbon dioxide to be sucked up by trees and other plants and stuff like that, and then be redistributed as oxygen back to human beings and other mammals like dogs and cats and stuff. So, but they never will because they all want a fucking payday is what it is, dude. Then we got a new report. Nigerian army massacred children, forced abortions during battle with Boko Haram. And this is why you don't live in countries, or you don't become a Christian missionary in nations where you can't be fucking armed, dude. There's a reason why that guy became machine gun preacher, by the way, because he knew the only way to fight fucking tyrants with guns was with fucking guns. Like, seriously, bro. So, you know, that's a great movie and a great story, by the way. If you've never seen the movie, if you never heard that dude's story, excellent story. The whole Coney 2012 thing that was going on like a decade or so ago now became a thing because of that dude. And what was interesting was it seemed like right after the 2012 election cycle, it just sort of disappeared out of the woodwork then. Like, people were calling for Joseph Kony to be brought up on crimes against humanity charges and stuff like that because he was this crazy, ruthless dictator that murdered a bunch of children and stuff over there, and I believe it was Nigeria or something. And yeah, like right after that election cycle where Obama, won re-election and stuff like that, then all of a sudden it was just like, nope, that's out the window. That story's gone now. It was just fucking nuts, dude. Just fucked up entirely. But yeah, I don't know. like I said, it's time for Ned Lamont to be impeached, out of office, and most likely for a lot of Democrats in the Connecticut General Assembly to be tossed out of office too on that one. And in that same vein of things, it's time for the Moms Demand Action types that came here to Ohio after Sandy Hook to go back to their fucking home in Connecticut and stop trying to fuck over Ohioans' gun rights. And it's really simple as that, dude. And I believe it is, I want to say it's either today or tomorrow is the 10th anniversary of Sandy Hook now. So I'm sure they're going to try to push more gun control crap after that now, dude. Even though when you start looking into it, man, pretty sure when you free a fucking arms dealer named Victor Bout, you have no fucking ability to talk about anything Biden and company or anything else for that matter, you scumbag sons of bitches. So, yeah, fuck all y'all, man. Fuck all y'all. Yeah, it would be the 14th tomorrow. Actually, you know what? That would make sense. It makes sense why going back, why you have that scumbag motherfucker Matt Dolan trying to push SB 357 in the state of Ohio right now so hard. It's because he's trying to do it for a Senate vote on the anniversary of Sandy Hook, I believe. That would make a lot more sense now, dude, now that I'm thinking about it. So, yeah. And if that be the case, then that is one of the most disgusting things ever, dude. No, anti-gun shit will not make American citizens safer. No, red flag laws do not make Americans safer. No, universal background checks do not make Americans safer. No, TAPS Act shit does not make Americans safer. No, behavioral threat assessment does not make Americans safer. Stealing people's constitutional rights does not make Americans safer. All it does is show what kind of tyrant fuckboys there are in our state governments and in our federal government. And it's really as simple as that. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you all in the next one. I'm not sure what we'll do for 86 yet. Debating. We might do a 10th anniversary of Sandy Hook or something like that, do like a damn remembrance or something like that, even though, you know my feelings on the whole thing, but I'm not going to get into that as what it is. But yeah, I mean, it will be a decade, and it's sad, man. It's a tragedy. It was a preventable tragedy, just like any other is what it was, dude. It's the same thing with Uvalde, same thing with Parkland, same thing with everything, dude. If you had armed teachers, if you had armed staff of any kind to confront these gunmen, if you had the cops in Uvalde do their job earlier this year and literally run the motherfucker down into that classroom and ding his ass in like less than 2 minutes is what it was, dude. You would have a lot of children still alive in this country right now, dude. And it's as simple as that, honestly. You would have a lot of teenagers and a lot of 20-somethings alive right now. But no, you had a bunch of scumbag motherfuckers that wanted these massacres to happen. You had a fucking elitist piece of shit government, a bunch of tyrannical assholes in office that wanted to steal Americans' constitutional rights and created fucking tragedies to do tragedy pimp bullshit to push sorrow and everything else like that on the American people and use emotion to try to steal people's constitutional rights. Fuck that. Anybody pushing for gun control, any politician, any civil servant in this country pushing for anything that directly infringes on the oath they swore to uphold the Constitution needs to no longer be in office after that, dude. Simple as that. When you are directly infringing upon Americans' constitutional rights to keep and bear arms, your ass needs to be gone from office. And that's all I'm just about at the end of the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you all in the next one.